Happy independence to all Uganda today. We are here at UCTV, but we are celebrating our independence inside the studio here because we need to record this remarkable move that we have started as the studio, as the mainstream media with Uganda's independence. We know that we need to create impact as we are here for the environmental dialogue at UCTV every Wednesday. And we are blessed that today that we are in the studio, that we are celebrating this day together. And we know that as other people have been celebrating in Busia, all over the country, we know that they cannot be the same. But what we need to know is to record always remarkable impact that the country has been recorded in areas to do with environment, impact assessment, that we know that the country at least we are doing something. Because when you see the report of the government from NEMA, from NFA, that at least that we are raising the tree cover from 11% to 13%. It means at least the country is picking up. And you know that by 2030, we'll be somewhere. That will the country say that Uganda as a country, as the part of Africa, they have done something in regards to environmental protection and management. So today we are here to discuss a critical issue which is affecting us all. And that's the impact of climate change on our water bodies. Before going to our topic of discussion today, let me first introduce my guests that I have. One has already been here, is the face of this show, and you know him, Arthur Blick. Sanyu is here, the executive director of Uganda. Yes, today, but I know that with time he will always be here. So, without waste of time, let me first invite Arthur to say something to the viewers. Arthur, please greet the viewers.
Thank you so much, moderator today. Good evening, Uganda. Happy Independence Day. And let's protect our environment. This is our country. We love it. It's a pleasure being here once again. And yes, happy Independence Day for all of us.
All right then. Oh, then let me go to Jackson. Jackson, greet the viewers out there.
Good evening, viewers, and thank you so much, moderator. I want to wish Ugandans a happy independence celebration. Thank you.
All right then. Oh, my dear viewers, we are here. I always ask that whenever we are here, if it's just clock 8, just stay tuned and don't touch any dial, because the issues that we are discussing here, it entails everything concerning the environment. Is something that should help you and I, should help our country. Because when we are talking about Pearl of Africa, it's something that someone should know. Why is that Uganda is called Pearl of Africa? For that, we need to protect our pearl, the beauty of our country. That's the reason why today Uganda Tourism Board is emphasizing on the concept of explore Uganda. And with this concept, we know that we need to embrace it, because we don't want to destroy our mother earth. We don't want to destroy our path. That's the reason why we are here, to articulate issues concerning our environment. All right, then, without waste of time, Arthur, our topic today is the impact of climate change in our country. Not only our country, you've seen that climate change has really taken a global step, has taken a global agenda. That's the reason why we are having now conference of parties, that's COP28, which was last year in Dubai, and today we are having again another COP29 that's going to happen in Baku. And the matter of concern is climate change, which has become a big global issue all over the world. And right now we have seen that the issue that we are discussing today, the impact of climate change on our water bodies. We know that Uganda, as one of the best water bodies that always tourists comes in our country to have a view of, like Lake Victoria, the biggest lake water body, the biggest lake in Africa, you know, by size, and also the second biggest freshwater body in all over the world. And we are concerned about this water body which we have, because this is like a goal, this is like a mirror that we have to protect. And we know that we don't have only Lake Victoria, we have several other lakes like Lake Tioga, Lake Albert, we have River Nile, White Nile. We are rich, and as a country we are really blessed with all these resources. But now the issue is, how has the impact of climate change affected these water bodies. And if, according to the studies, they say that if we don't wake up to protect this lake, we have the same experience like our Chad experience. Like our Lake Chad was the biggest, by then was the biggest water body in Africa. But because people never took care of manage the lake well, they lost it out. That right now we are looking also at Lake Victoria. If we sit down with this always effect of the climate change we are seeing, and we just sit and say, oh, we have the lake and we don't take action. We know that, are we safe? So I just want us to give us a preview of all this impact of climate change on our water bodies.
Thank you, Dickens. And climate change is just a change in the weather patterns.
Yeah.
Consistently. So, you know, maybe for the beginners, Uganda as a country is predominantly relying on agriculture, which agriculture was based on the weather patterns. We know we have been having 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So all the farmers, the subsistence farmers, have been planning according to the seasons we have. We know the rainy and the dry. So we know from this month to this
and
month. And
others, they knew that starting March, it's wet season.
You get it.
Yeah.
So, but things have over time changed.
Yeah.
And that is what we are calling the climate change. This climate change has not only affected all other spheres, but also including our water sources.
Yeah.
You have rightly mentioned the different types of water sources we have. And we have a variety of them. We have the lakes, which include Lake Albert, Kyoga, name them, we know them, Lake Victoria. We have the rivers, but also we have the crater lakes, which are an underlying issue that people don't know. Usually, people don't discuss. And yet, all those, you know, they contribute to the GDP of the country. Once, keep that for. But some of the key issues that some of the effects, one is, of course, the changes in temperatures. Definitely change the aquatic life.
Just like I just read the report from the, I think, Uganda Metropolitan Authority, where they were saying that they're predicting the temperature to rise from 1.5 degrees Celsius to starting from 2024. If we don't look it and we don't protect like the biodiversity around us and the lake around us, because they are predicting that reaching up to 2080, we have like a rise from from 1.5 degrees Celsius to 4.3 degrees Celsius, which is a very big effect.
That's you see. Leave alone that the fact that there is a forecasted urbanization growth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has consequences up to down this side. They trickle down.
Yeah.
So as people come to seek for better services in urban centers, definitely some of these natural resources are inflicted on, including the water bodies. Now, the human activity, which includes the urbanization, which includes the degradation, they cause the impacts. Ultimately, they contribute to the climate change, which causes a lot of impact. But coming back to the discussion, I told you sometime back we are running the Save Lake Victoria campaign. And from the different studies we are conducting, we have been told that the Nile patch has reduced by 2020. It had reduced by 30%.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the effect on economic activities, on the livelihood of people, on everything there.
Yeah.
One, because of the increased temperatures, but also because of the differences in the water levels.
Yeah.
So some type of fish live in a certain water body because of the water size. So when the waters change, the other inhabitants also try to adopt and change and look for where else to be. So as a result, it trickles down to the economic growth of the country. It trickles down to the GDP. But also to bring it back home, I think that was 2019, 2020, You remember when the water bodies, the Lake Victoria, I'm still referring to Lake Victoria, the water raised, levels rise. And all that line, I think there is Mirembe Villas, there is all those golf course, Serena, Chigo, all those places were flooded off.
Even not only Kamwani. Even the URA, the board, they could not even access their office.
The changes in climate change ultimately may affect the water body, but it has consequences on the human activities and the GDP. I want to take you back to the most recent, which has been River Nyamwamba. If you know River Nyamwamba is a river in Kasese district. And we know that Kasese district has been prone to flooding. Do you know the reason? The reason is because the ice, the glaciers in the Mount Rwenzori melt because of the different human activities. A lot of heat, the ice at the mountain melt. Yeah. Now when they melt, the small waterway which was accommodating River Nyamwamba can now not hold the water that is coming out of the result of the melted snow. So at the end of the day, the water looks for its way. It becomes flooded. It comes and picks the homes. It comes and picks the, and the last time we had lost around 10 people in those floods. So its impact on the climate change impact on water bodies is immense. We also have, there's a river called River Mpanga.
I know River Mpanga. River
Mpanga also goes and joins Lake Albert, but also because of the urbanization, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
In Sopoto City, people are trying to, inhabit all the spaces, including where the river used to pass through. So at the end of the day, it looks for where it passes and it can't see. There's a lot of silting. There's a lot of deforestation. There's a lot of land degradation. So climate change has impacted in terms of reducing the water size, reducing on the aquatic life. It changes the biodiversity in general. But that said, there's a lot of interventions that are also people are trying to do.
All right, I shall come to that. Oh, Jackson, let me come to you. You're a person who have seen you've been in Karamoja, you've been or other parts of northern Uganda. And I know that, yes, due to this experience of climate change that we are seeing, I think the last 2 days you attended the African Climate Adaptation Conference, and you know that. So what is really your view about the climate change impact on our water bodies? As with all your exploration that I've been making, I'm saying you attending these conferences. So what are really this impact of the climate change on our, can you just give us like a brief overview of that?
Well, thank you so much, Dickens. Climate change has had an adverse effects on not only our water bodies, but also human lives here in Uganda. Notably, the recent rise, the recent increase in the water levels at Lake Victoria. It rose from 13.5 meters, that was in 2020, to 13.66 meters by this year.
Yeah.
And this has really affected even the human life, and the settings of everything that is around Lake Victoria. An example is the Chigungu landing site, which is located in Wakeso district. There in Entebbe. So climate change has really affected human life. It has also affected our wetlands, and it has undermined the natural attributes of wetlands. Wetlands have been acting as hunting grounds and even habitats for aquatic life. But of course, with the encroachment on these wetlands, it has really undermined its attributes, its natural uses, and it has really affected our water bodies. And this is something we have to fight as Ugandans if we are to save our future.
Yeah, you talked of wetlands. I know that wetlands cover 11% of the land space here in Uganda. Now that with the wetlands, and we have seen that the wetlands have really contributed to our economy. our GDP. But there is a report that I read from National Management Authority, where was saying that Uganda used to, that out of wetlands, that the country was focusing on, especially on, that wetlands are attraction of tourism, where some tourists, they come for bird watching, just in wetlands, and we've talked of livelihoods, and we have seen very many craft that comes out of this wetland. Yeah. And now, the report was saying that the government is losing, like from 21% of the GDP that that the wetland was contributing, maybe due to activities and the funds that are coming, we are raising out of the wetlands contribution, we find that we are losing like this 21%, which is now going down. And we are seeing that that's the reason why we see that the president has come out to start and telling people that we need to get out of wetland. But we are still seeing other people. We are still seeing factories being constructed on wetlands. We are still seeing other apartments. We are seeing a lot of things. So out of all these activities, human activities, also after talk of the development which is taking, infrastructure development which is taking place, do you think we'll protect these wetlands, the lakes, the river? Are we going really to manage as a country to protect it?
You see the pressure, human pressure on economic empowerment, on urbanization, on livelihood, is the one that trickles down to us impacting on these issues. For example, people used to stay in the villages and dig and sell their products and what. But because of the changes in weather patterns, you are not guaranteed of digging even in October. When we used to know that in October it is going to be raining, people like by December people will be harvesting. But you reach mid-October, there are no rains. Now, because of such scenarios, people are then forced to think of alternative livelihood sources. And now they are going into places like mining. The other time we were talking about the construction boom. They see that the opportunities now are not in agriculture, they are more into construction.
Yeah.
So they are forced to look into where can we get the easiest money. Which easiest money would be selling sand, which sand you would be mining from the wetlands you're talking about.
Yeah.
They will be looking at quarrying, doing stone quarrying. We have seen now there is an increase in young people and women engaged in quarrying services. So all those effects, the pressures on human needs are becoming more and more. And then people are now shifting from the traditional livelihood sources to these fast moving and demanded goods. I want to a little take back what we had talked about. Now, when you're talking statistics, 1.25, 3. A person in Kamungu will not understand.
We will not understand.
But we can all understand if, for instance, a scenario like the one I'm talking of, flooding, and it has swept away a whole town.
The whole of the village.
Okay, so now the water has risen.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
But for instance, in Kampala here, we are still struggling. People cannot tame their ego in terms of encroaching the wetlands and the water bodies. Why? Because we still have a lot of pressures to meet our needs as people.
Yeah.
And also the way we, as a country, because we, as a country, we need to understand that policy implementation is very key and critical in terms of maintaining and ensuring that people are able to adopt around the community.
Okay, after we will come back to that, about when you talk of policy and all that, we will come back in our, I think, after the break. Before we go into the break, I want to come to Jackson. Jackson, we have seen that the effect of climate change has also affected the region, especially of Karamoja. Last time I saw that, I witnessed one of the victims was complaining that right now they don't understand even when it's raining
when
and
it's raining,
when it's raining, when is the season,
and it's not Karamoja alone.
you prepare your garden doing that in March.
you're going to receive rain. Your surprise that again is going to start raining like either in May or June. Or sometimes it starts even in January, whereby someone is still.
And when it comes heavy.
It becomes heavy. And you find that all this effect has affected people. So how can we really help these people, especially in Karamoja, in other rural, not only in Karamoja, as Arthur said, especially people in rural areas who they have never understood this science of weather patterns and all that.
Well, thank you so much. You see, the issue of climate change has not only affected, especially with farming, it has not only affected Karamoja, because I watched news 2 days ago, and they were talking of some parts of Rwenzori not having rainfall, and others were having rainfall. So it is getting tricky. And I think for the case of Karamoja, there has to be serious mindset change. Like there should be awareness campaigns so that the locals down there can get to understand how these climate change issues happen and how like they have to adapt to these changing weather patterns. Because deep down there, most people still think when they take long without receiving rainfall, they still believe it may be the gods that are maybe annoyed with them. You know, the kind of insecurity in Karamoja, and our lives are always lost in Karamoja.
And also wildlife has become insecurity.
Yes, so people still have a belief that, you see, this rain is taking long to come, so maybe it's because the gods are annoyed with us. So I think it's basically about, mindset change. We have to let the people down there know that, this is a serious, it's a current trend that has really affected world over. Yeah. So that is what I think should be done for the communities deep down there in Karamoja.
All right, thanks Jackson for that elaboration. We are still coming back for more and more, having more digestive explorations, looking at these issues that we need to articulate it so that someone down there can understand the language that we are speaking, what we are trying to communicate to the community. We know that we are here to amplify the voice of the community, the voice of our nation. Just I want to ask that before we are going to come back about the policy issue, the intervention measures, if we are looking at the adaptation or mitigation, which one can we go for or the community can go for? We shall go for a short commercial break. Please don't touch your dial. We shall be back within a short time. Thank you very much.
UCTV, good news for all. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan of up to 50 million shillings for a solar-powered irrigation system on your farm. Enjoy a grace period tailored to your cash flows and loan offer amounts from 100,000 up to 50 million Uganda shillings with flexible loan periods up to 60 months. Apply for a Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan through our branches, agents, and enjoy a fixed interest rate of just 1.7% per month. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan today and watch your farming dreams come to life. Visit any of our nearest branch today or call our toll-free line 0800 200 555 or 0800 335 344.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
Support the Uganda Catholic Television with MTN Momo. Step 1. Dial star 165 star 3 hash. Step 2. Enter merchant code 180572. Step 3. Enter any amount from 500 Uganda shillings. Step 4. Pay using MTN mobile money. Step 5. Enter PIN code and send. Step 6. You will receive a confirmation text for supporting the Uganda Catholic Television.
Welcome to Seeds of Success. My name is Rwanga Godfrey. Seeds of Success, we talk about business environment,
If you want to be a millionaire, work for money. But billionaires work for wealth.
Social affairs.
Whom to blame via characters and talents? Is it tertiary institutions or humanity within the human beings?
And other topical issues. Don't miss on UCTV, good news for all.
Caritas Uganda is a social development department under the Uganda Episcopal Conference. Our aim is to empower communities and transform lives. Do not miss Caritas Focus every Sunday and Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on UCTV.
Are you 18 to 35 years old? Live your life to the fullest with the Center Evolution Youth Savings Account. With the Center Evolution Youth Savings Account, you get a free ATM card, no monthly charges, free bank drafts for school fees payments, and attractive interests. And that's not all. Enjoy access to financial literacy, entrepreneurship opportunities, and bank loans. Opening the Center Evolution Youth Savings Account is your ticket to a brighter future. For more information, please visit any of the nearest branches today or call our toll-free line 0800 200 555 or 0800 335 344.
Centenary Bank.
Hello and welcome back to Connect with Mary on the Uganda Catholic Television, Good News for All. Today, like I told you earlier, we are going to talk about the 7 sorrows of Mary.
You know, for me, the strength of Mary, I think, we are looking at Mary as a symbol of strength and resilience.
When Simeon saw Jesus, because the angel had, God had revealed to him that he will not die until he sees.
If it was not the woman, the mother of Jesus.
I am with the help of God.
UCTV brings to you live the Kotido Diocese Priestly Ordination Ceremony. Experience the sacred moment as we celebrate the dedication and the commitment of our new priests. Do not miss the chance to witness the powerful event of our faith community.
May Jesus preserve you to sanctify the Christian people and to offer sacrifice to God.
On Thursday, 10th of October at 10 a.m. live on UCTV.
UCTV, good news for all.
Alright, welcome back from that short commercial break. We are still here at UCTV, having this wonderful time as we celebrate our independence inside the studio here. You know that I told you that earlier that we are here to communicate what concerns our community, what concerns our part of Africa, what concerns the world. We are here to discuss that, to share knowledge. That's the reason why we spend our time. I invite my guests always here. So, without waste of time, let me go straight. I communicated before the break that we are going to look at the measures that we can adopt as a country, as a community here, truly to see that we try to either to mitigate or to do the adaptation measures, but I don't know, I know that really adaptation or mitigation might be very expensive, especially you say to someone in Kanungu or someone in Kotido, or where it's very expensive, especially because when you're talking of now the adaptations, the mitigations, you're bringing now science there, technology there. So, before that, after, we're seeing that there is a water rise in the water body, especially, that since 2013, the Uganda Meteorological Authority, I think it's authority, they say that since 2013, that they have recorded 10.1% of the water increase, 10.1 cubic meters, that has been recorded since 2001 due to the increase of water water levels in the water bodies. And right now that we are in 2024, we have seen that some other people are going out there research that it has increased to 15%. Others are saying 13%. And always, even though you say that we should not look at the statistics, we should look at what a layman down can understand. Yeah. So, and that's the reason why we are now saying, what can we do as a country with all this happening, with all these statistics we are seeing, we are expressing? What can we do? Are we going for adaptation or mitigation, or maybe other things that our traditional clan leaders or the kings and other maybe people know that we can really come up with?
The earlier people, our great grandfathers had their traditional ways of saving the environment, and in that way they used to. The human activity then was not as so intense as it is today, and therefore the ecological system would be able to sustain itself. Now today, because of increased population, the other day we had the census, you know what happened. So the numbers are doubling and tripling. So, and the environment,
women and more than men,
the environment we are living in is not expanding. That is one factor that we need to understand. Secondly, I hear you when you talk of Uganda meteorological, but my issue is not on the statistics. My issue is how do we then use that statistics to trickle down to the human activity on the ground, because it's what we want to curb. The mitigation you're saying. That department should help us to forecast and tell, but also raise awareness of what we need to do and what we not used to do, so that we're able to maintain the ecological system. Now, whether it does it right, I am not so sure, or I'm so sure. That is the topic for the other day. But you asked me what can we do, and I want to appreciate that at least more and more Ugandans are getting onto the board to realize. One, the most recent we had the Rwenzori Marathon, and that was aimed at tabbing both River Mpanga and River Nyamwamba, because more people are coming to realize that the things that we are doing now are affecting not only the people in Kasese, but also back to us. So we might sit here in Kampala and say, those are Kasese people. Those are the other one of Bugis is called what? The one that mudslides. You can't leave it to them. Ultimately, it comes back to you.
You don't think that these are Ugandans?
Whether it's Uganda, but ultimately it comes back to you. So as we go on, we are seeing more and more young people getting involved in understanding and campaigning against climate change. And that is the biggest start. One of the things that we need to do is more into awareness creation, raise awareness. We shouldn't get tired.
Arthur, there is a complaint that is saying that, like in the communities, that most of the information that we discuss is only in Kampala. For them in the community, they don't get anything.
And that's why the marathons are going back to the villages. They are not in Kampala. When they used to be in Kampala, SDG 1, you are the one who does those things. You're doing them in Okello. Okello has nothing to do with
this time we are doing them.
That's where the things, the issues are.
We are having in Karamoja. That's
what I'm saying. More and more are getting back on board. But if you read the National Adaptation Plan, it has some, some blinkers of where we want to put more effort. And as young people that are advocating for climate change, I think awareness creation is, but we have also consistently been asking government to finance more of these interventions. We need to have more proper farming practices. We know the activity. As we are advocating for industrialization, we need to plan for that. Because at the end of the day, the effects of industrialization come back to our water bodies, in terms of affecting what sources, who, and where. So I think as a country, we need to do a lot of investment in terms of time, but also we need to specifically and intentionally fund climate change initiatives by young people who are on the rise in this country. I have seen the tree planting initiative by the president. 2 million campaign. The 2 million trees. That is a good initiative by government to make sure that by 2026 they have at least put into place 2 million trees to also support that. But also different communities have come up with different initiatives. Like we need our trees back for the River Nyamwamba. We have been having a campaign around River Mpanga. There has been a campaign on Obongi. You know Obongi?
In the West
Nile. There has been also a campaign because I happened to have traveled one time and it had rained heavily a day before. And you know the ferry there. So we were stuck by 2 days to wait for the water levels to
first go down.
So there are many adverse effects which ultimately trickle down to our economic.
Okay, Arthur, thanks for that. Let me come to Jackson. Jackson, you've been operating in those areas, the rural areas like Namutumba. You've said that you moved to areas like Morocho, and you've had that interactions with the community, with the local people there. So, what do you think of some of the intervention that that suits this community, especially the local? Because we know that you cannot tell a villager down there, a farmer down there, that you need to monitor the temperature rise using what? A smartphone. Or maybe you need to download this app, and this is a person first of all, maybe he doesn't know how to read and write, and you're telling him about
he
doesn't even have a smartphone, and you're talking about the apps. You ask, what do you mean by app or something? So what do you think some of the intervention that we can really apply, or the government can bring on board, or maybe something that the community can fund, or an organization like Hanka can maybe say that these are some of the interventions that we are coming with, that the community can embrace to protect our water bodies or the environment?
Well, thank you so much, Dickens. Going to that question of the measures that could be adapted in order to tackle issues down there in the local communities. I think, first of all, this climate change issue, most of the people who have on the front line towards the fight against climate change are mostly Halites. And I think the local people there are not yet equipped with the knowledge or regarding climate change. So what I think is, first of all, we as the people who are in the front line, and also the government and other development partners, should go that side of locally led adaptation strategies. For example, deep down in Karamoja, not only Karamoja, but most parts of the country, you realize that when you want to send a message home, you should maybe calculate well and go with most of those cultural festivals. An example is this famous annual Karamoja Cultural Festival. And I believe once the message of climate change is channeled through such initiatives, maybe Luo Festival, all those things.
I've also heard of the Karamoja Sports Gala. Is it still happening?
Yes, I think it's still happening. And
this one always target the young people, the youth and all that.
Yes, so like when you incorporate the maybe Karamoja Cultural Gala and the Cultural Festival, I mean the Football Gala and the Cultural Festival and other festivals across the country, there you're impacting directly on the young people and the elders as well. Because the message could better move that way and it could better get understood instead of just us being here on the TV and talking about it and maybe using radios and other channels. But I believe when you go that deep there and incorporate it in their cultural songs, in their cultural dances, it speaks volumes. And another thing is, you see, even me, I just got to know about these climate change things even after finishing campus. You understand? So I think even our government is not giving it more light. And I believe if the climate change concept has been incorporated in our school curriculum, our kids will grow up knowing what to do and what not to do.
But let me ask you, what is climate change in your language, guys? What is climate change? For instance, because when you go to Yumbe, which word can you say and it describes climate change? if you don't speak it in English.
Really, that's the hard concept.
And I believe that is where government needs to support us to come. Localizing issues becomes much easier.
Yeah.
When they were fighting HIV/AIDS, at least there was something called Mokenem. And even when you're in Uganda and you say it, someone somehow relates to something called a sickness.
A sickness.
You get?
Right.
There's the corruption. And there's a slang for corruption. I think we need also to get a slang that somehow resonates with communities.
Yeah.
The biggest, I think, and where we are getting it is that, where we are not getting it is that, depending on who is sending the message.
Yeah.
Now, if I stand up and talk about climate change in Kotido, they will not understand, because they may not understand the language.
True.
But if I am I'm talking and there's this slang I'm consistently using that refers to climate change, I think people resonate much better. So as a country, we need also to tackle it with that, galvanized effort of using one language to describe something. Otherwise, we might be sending a signal, like he said, after university, what happens to the people who need to go to university? That means they will only remain, climate change becomes a big elephant that no one knows.
Just learning the hard way.
So we need to move into a state of either addressing it as a local issue, so that we look for locally, like he said, the local solutions. But the local solutions come only if the local people understand what we're talking. Otherwise, we shall remain in the boardroom. And talk of climate change.
After you have said that, because I was also looking at doing like my masters in areas to do with climate change, and I feel like we add like that also.
You need to get a very good slang that we shall promote. Because then people will understand it better.
I was surprised that we don't have masters in climate change in Uganda. And I was seeing that universities of Yali, they want to have Master of Science and Climate Change. And I said that, this is a problem. That's why some of our students, they go, as you say, he went to university, he never had such, even in the whole of all his 3 years at the university. And that's when he came out. That's when he started learning all this in a hard way that you need to embrace, because you want to do something in your community to safeguard your community from going through certain things that you're seeing that the people of Kasese, the people of Bududa have been going through, the people of Obongi have been going through. So, now that we have all this, you say that the government should come out, maybe incorporate this into new curriculums that I've seen that they have started. So, now the issue is the money. Because the government will also say, we don't have money.
We don't have money.
So what can we do with all this? We know that the government says we don't have money.
I think the issue of investment is purely based on priorities.
Should we look at now things to do with policy, coming up maybe with policy that we are going to put a star chart on those ones maybe who are trying to practice other measures like deforestations, others who are doing practices that are destroying the environment, or other investors who just can build from nowhere, and you're seeing some building is just being constructed in Lake Victoria, in the middle of the lake or in the swamp area, where at least we say that we put those ones, maybe we check those ones, before even charging, you need to first be arrested, take you inside prison, pay for your crime, where at least the government should come up with maybe a certain fund, under maybe a consolidated fund, where all these grants are taken in one place. Then maybe organizations like Youth Go Green, Aya, maybe Caritas can say that they can cap to. Then we say that 12 at least, because we know that there are certain measures that we cannot do it. But as you say, that there are certain things that we can do on our own, but there are other things that we know you need other hand. So with all this, can the policy help really our community to come out of this, or maybe the policy is doing more harm than good?
Well, thank you so much, Dickens. Going by the word policy, you realize that around last year, President Museveni made a decree that was banning the charcoal trade in the entire northern Uganda.
Yeah.
Well, that is the situation right there is not as he mentioned, because apparently northern Uganda still tops as the biggest exporter of charcoal in the entire Uganda.
Yeah.
So I believe we are just good at bringing policies, but the implementation bit of it is the hardest. Because I remember even early this year I was advocating for against deforestation in Abin district.
Yeah.
I remember I shared on my socials, my X handle and LinkedIn. Yeah, and some people really came in and asked me, what's up? The president made a decree and we thought maybe this
support them.
Maybe this thing is no longer happening. But the reality on ground is, much as there's a decree banning charcoal trade in northern Uganda, still there is a lot of trade in charcoal happening right now, even under the watch of our government bodies, let's say LCs, the LC5s, the police, and all those people.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think the biggest challenge here is implementation.
Yeah.
And I implore the government to really take it as something serious. And if we are to save our environment, the government has to make stringent measures to punish people who do charcoal trade, or people who encroach on wetlands and all that.
Okay. Thank you, Jackson. Arthur, I'm coming to you. Arthur, you talk of implementations, government bringing out policies and trying to sanction other people. Like now, for instance, we know that the biggest thing right now in Uganda is that you're coming with a policy, but have you trained the people of Omoro that yes, stop burning charcoal, stop cutting down the trees, but what are other practices, sustainable alternatives that maybe first train with the community before telling them stop this? Because now someone down there in Onoya will tell you that now you're telling me I should stop what? Cutting trees or making charcoal. Well, that's the only energy source that I know I have. So what are other things that I should? So how can we handle this sustainable practices versus policy? Because we see that this is a big thing that's also what? Promoting this high rate of deforestation in our country. So how can we deal with this as a country?
And I think those are the missed opportunities in these policies. Because then we are not giving people an alternative. It's you're telling someone don't eat. And you don't eat and you're telling him not how to survive after not eating. So it becomes much harder than it becomes much harder in implementation than it would have been. For example, if you're telling people not to burn charcoal, what should they do? You are not giving those options. So and this is the time we are calling out government to invest more in green jobs.
Yeah.
Green economy. They should promote, they should sensitize, they should raise awareness, they should give us alternatives. There are organizations that are already starting this. Let's work with them. Let's promote. Let's make noise of the greening. Let's make noise of the effects of this climate change.
Yeah.
So that people are able to tell that if I don't do this, this happens. If I do this, this happens. But waking up and telling people we no longer want to see cows in town, and you're not telling them what to do after not having cows, you are not helping it. But also, the biggest is that the policymakers are the ones who are breaking the law. Usually, most times, they are the wrong examples. So, and we want to implore government to become high-handed in implementing these. The law should not have, this is Dickens, this is Arthur. No, the law is the law, whether you're Dickens, whether you're Arthur.
Yeah.
Whether we come from the same road or not, we should be affected by the same law. So some laws work for some people and some laws don't work for some people. But the baseline is, now is the time for us to encourage young people, who are the biggest population in this country, to be engaged, to see the opportunities in the green economy. And from it, harness it, so that we are able to harness the demographic dividend for this country. But the recent statistics were showing 51% of the young people and are idle. They have nothing to do. Why? Because we have not put our efforts in tapping into the opportunities that these young people with their energies can benefit from. So I would greatly encourage the government that this is our time to make noise on the green economy, green jobs. And we invest more into that. We shall reap tomorrow.
All right, then, Alpha, that's a very nice concept. I know that our time is much spent and we are at the nick of time. Without first going through an exploration or what Alpha was saying, I think we are going to have that discussion about the green jobs versus the traditional ones. How we can see the young people can tap into opportunity to come out of that percentage of idleness. So, without waste of time, let me give Jackson to give his brief remark to the viewer, then Afra as the closing remark. So, just give your remark to the viewers. Well, can tell them your closing remark to the viewers.
Well, thank you so much, viewers, for watching us. And I implore all of you to really take this climate change issue as something so serious. Let's protect our environment. This is ours, and we have to save our dear Mother Nature, and we have to save our Mother Earth. At least plant a tree on this Independence Day. Make it a must. At least plant one. Yeah. So that is what I can say. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, Arthur.
Thank you so much, UCTV. And as we celebrate this Independence Day, now is the time to go back to our call to love our country. We can only love our country if we protect our environment. The things we are talking of patriotism and we are not loving it by protecting our country, we are going to lose at the end of the day. We have to accept that climate change is here, and it is high time that the young people of this country are able to realize that. I just call upon that each one of us is able, let me add on what Jackson is saying, is able to plant at least one, because that tree you plant today will be used by your son and grandson tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
But the one you cut today, you'll have your child and your grandchild will have no shade to put his head under. Yeah. So it's a call to all of us. Let's protect our environment. Let's love our country. The only way we can love our country and celebrate independence meaningfully, we should be celebrating independence every day, because this is where we are and this is for us to stay in.
Yeah.
I love you and have a blessed evening.
All right, then. Thanks, Arthur, for coming. Thanks, Jackson, for coming. We still have you guys here. Everyone is there. So, our dear viewers, we have come to the end of our session, our discussion. I told you that this is a very sweet topic, which is imperative, which is profound. And I know that climate change discussion, certain people say that always it's a multifaceted issue, but we can make this happen. Even though you say that it's a boring concept, but it's boring because you're not doing anything. You're angry about it. But when you take action to say that I need to do something, like they have just played, they need to plant a tree.
We need to make it youth friendly. Youth friendly must be youth friendly with youth slangs.
Youth slangs. Okay, we will do that. And also we say that, as they say that, plant a tree every day. Please, those ones who are still in production or producing, make sure that any child you produce, let that child plant a tree. Plant for that child a tree. Yeah. The day you're taking that child to church for baptism, tell father we need to plant a tree with that child. Yeah. Anyone getting married every Saturday, please, they should make couples also to plant trees, so that we save our Mother Earth. We will not be complaining of the increase of the water, the rise of water in the water bodies, when we can do something, which are simple things to practice. Simple, sustainable practices. That's the reason why we are here, and we make as UCTV Environment Dialogue. We are powered by UCTV Management and Caritas Uganda, and we are still looking forward to call all our organizations who want to partner with us, want to maybe sponsor these shows. You're most welcome. And in case of anything like comment, just drop your comment at our YouTube comment section there, or reach out to the number, reach out to us at UCTV, reach out to my producer Lam is there, Anthony is always there, or reach out to me, Dickens. We'll always be of help to work together, because things to do with climate discussion or climate change, I cannot do it alone. Alpha cannot do it alone. Jackson cannot do it alone. UCTV cannot do it alone. We need what's called partnership and collaboration, and that's what the Sustainable Development Goals 17 sets of partnership and collaboration, and that's why we are here to work together for this. We remain UCTV Environmental Dialogue. I'm your host, Dickens Okello. See you next week. Bye-bye. Happy Independence.
UCTV. Good news for all.